Hi everyone and welcome to the Learning Ladder. Today I'm sharing with you our homeschool schedule for first grade. As with any schedule, this new schedule that we're introducing, we can tweak it if something doesn't work out, which is what we did with our kindergarten one, which I'll talk about in a second, just reordering things if it doesn't flow quite right. So it's a working schedule. This is what we'll start out with the year, see how we progress. If we don't like it, we can change it. It's completely adaptable. The other thing as well is you'll note I do not put times on, and the reason I don't do that is because if we decide to do a field trip on a certain day, or if we decide to go to a homeschool group or an activity or something, so that I don't want to have times on there to restrict. This is what we do in a day. As to what time we do it in the day, usually it's school hours, but sometimes if there's an event or an activity or something along those lines, then it might be that we school more in the afternoon, or it might be that we school in the morning and then do our afternoon activities when we come back. So that's why I don't put times on there, just for flexibility. Okay, so I'll just start off our everyday. First is reading, and then we do our math centre. So we do the Moffat Girls hands-on first grade curriculum this year. So it's a centre activity just to get the brain going and everything else in a mathematical way. They are so fun. Highly recommend her curriculum. Then we do our Saxon Maths. So we do our meeting, which is our calendar time and the additional activities that they have for the morning meeting, such as counting by twos, fives, tens, doing our money, coin cup and everything else. So we do the meeting and then we do our lesson and our worksheet that is for each Saxon Maths. So the lesson is an activity that I'm teaching to her, and then after that she will go and do her worksheet, which is a consolidation of the lesson. We do that Monday to Thursday because it is only a 4-day curriculum, and then on Friday we do our math interactive notebook. Now that's a Carson's Elisa one, we really like those. Then language arts comes after our math, and we have 4-day language arts curriculum. So we do our handwriting without tears, and if you noticed in my curriculum haul I had 2 handwriting without tears books. We don't do them both at the same time. We do the first one first and then the building writers after. So it's one, then when that's finished we go on to the next one. So she does a handwriting without tears. She'll also do her grammar, which is just actually narration, dictation. It's nothing too in depth, and she also does her writing curriculum, which again is very grade appropriate. It's reading passages and comprehension and writing a small sentence, and they have different sentences that you can write depending on what level your child's at. So a really small one, or a longer, more in-depth one, depending on what level your child's at and how they're feeling that day, which I really love about that curriculum. Then on Friday we do our logic book and our interactive notebook. Then we have our break. If in between these 2 subjects we need a break, then we'll take one. If not, then we'll go through and then have our break after. Again, breaks and lunch times are very flexible. If we're hungry, we'll have lunch. It's very simple. We don't wait until a certain time. Okay, we've done that lesson, we'll go do lunch. This is just there on a schedule for illustration purposes. We can have our break whenever we need to. After we have our break, in theory, we come back for science. So we do our science, elemental science, which is an experiment, and then there are different activities that go along with it. On the Thursday we do our science interactive notebook, and on the Friday I'm going to do an additional experiment, which is not related to the curriculum. It's just an experiment that I picked I think she'll enjoy, because we're trying to incorporate a fun Friday theme going. So if you notice, we don't do our Saxon Maths on there. We still do our math centre because it's fun. And the last day of reading for Friday is usually just one story. So again, that's fun. She loves her reading. And then the logic book, again, that's a fun activity, and a science experiment, again, fun. Okay, I'll stop wittering on. You get the idea. Okay, then back to history. So on Monday we do our chapter, which is reading our story of the world chapter and any of the narration questions or activities, and then on the Tuesday we do the activity which is associated with that chapter. I'm so looking forward to doing those. I hope she loves them as much as I think she will, because they sound amazing. I love them. we do our geography. So the first day is our geography curriculum, and then the second day is a unit study for geography that I'm putting together myself. Friday, again, fun, keeping it fun. We're doing our social studies, but it's what I call citizenship. I was tempted to write citizenship on there, but then I thought, well, we'll probably include other things in there, so I didn't want to just write that. So it's learning how to be a good citizen, and what that entails, and specific things related to our country, where we live, and our community, and all those kind of things. Again, keeping it fun. Now, this is our extras activities. If you notice on my homeschool planner, I have extras listed. So this is what I call extras, or you could call them enrichment, however you want to describe them. We call them extras. So on Monday, it's baking. So I'm compiling a recipe book for her for this year. On Tuesday, it's art and music. Now, what we tend to do with these is we have some art and music curriculum, and then we do our own activities as well. Sometimes we combine them. So, for example, we'll do our art while we're listening to a piece of music, or if the music activity for that week is more intense, so we're learning about a composer, then we'll do a loop schedule, we'll alternate. Wednesday, it's IT, and she does handwriting without tears, keyboarding without tears on the computer, and then I also have our coding curriculum, which she does too. Thursday, it's Spanish, and I'm also going to incorporate a little bit of Latin as well for fun this year, nothing too intense. And then Friday, again, fun day, we're doing our writing journal. Now, last year, I'll show you our kindergarten one in a second, but last year we did a news journal, which ended up actually being a story journal because she loves to write stories. She would dictate to me the story, and I would write it in her journal, and then she would draw a picture. But this year I'm wanting to make it more free. So if she wants to write a story, absolutely she can write a story. If she wants to write about a field trip we went on, she can do that. If she wants to write about an animal she's seen in a book or something along those lines, then she can do that. So it's completely open, free writing, I guess you could say, for her writing journal, and Fun Friday, free writing. Now, last year, our other enrichment activity we did was 5 in a row. We're not doing 5 in a row this year. We are concentrating our focus on STEM. So this can be an additional science experiment, because my daughter loves science experiments. It can be a math game. It can be building something, an activity along those lines. I'm compiling our drawers with different STEM activities in there that she can do. So she can I'll allocate one for her, because we have 10 rainbow drawers, so I'll allocate in each drawer 2 weeks worth of STEM, and then we'll rotate, or I'll let her choose. So it'll be free. I haven't decided yet what I'm planning to do. It'll either be I allocate her an activity in the drawer, or she can choose off a list of activities. We're figuring that out, how I want to do it. Done that, we do our read aloud. I sometimes read to her while she's doing an activity, or we sit down cozy on the sofa and we read, or we can read at bedtime. Well, we always read at bedtime, but if we want to do our read aloud at bedtime, we can do that. Generally speaking, it's usually in the afternoon before bed, because she likes to choose her own stories at bedtime. But the options there's flexibility. So that is our first grade schedule. As I said, we haven't used it yet, so it's a working schedule. I might move things around, and I'll just show you our kindergarten one, which is sticking to the floor because it's been velcroed. So what I do is I print 2 copies off. One goes on the wall, and then one goes in my binder. This was obviously the one that was on the wall. So you can see how it's slightly changed. So initially we were doing our maths first. So we were doing our circle time, which was the calendar and morning meeting, and then we were going to our maths, and then we were doing reading afterwards. But it ended up that we actually did the reading first. She just seemed to prefer that. And also, because we are doing more language arts this year than what we were doing this year, because we were doing writing, so handwriting without tears and additional writing sheets. I didn't want reading and language arts to follow each other, because I thought it was too much language arts all at one time. So I prefer maths being the buffer. So instead of doing maths, then reading, then language arts, I think reading, maths, then language arts just works better. And for us, then here we have the 5 in a row, as I said, which we are now replacing with STEM. We're still reading as much as we were last year, but we're changing from our enrichment from a literary aspect to a science, technology, engineering, math aspect. So that was last year. This is this year. That's our first grade schedule. Hope that gave you some ideas. I'll do an update as I do my homeschool updates throughout the year as to how it's working out, if we've moved things around. But so far it looks like it should work comparing it to what we've previously done, but we'll see how it goes, and I'll give you an update as we go through the year. The other thing that she can do in a writing journal as well is nature journaling too. I should have mentioned that because we did actually do that as part of our science. It's not in the science this year, so I'm leaving that up to her if she wants to, you know, take some things from outside, bring them in, draw them, everything else. It's going to be completely free writing. So that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.